So the fiction that most Americans have been told is, look, our leaders have to make 51% of us happy. The reality is that they have to stay on the good side of approximately 10% of their party's base voters. So this tends to bring people a bit to the sides. It changes their incentives. This is one reason why America's political parties feel like they're not listening to a lot of the public. What happens if some brave legislators lean across the aisle and try to compromise and find a solution to a big, hairy problem? They worked with the enemy, they're ideologically impure, their base turns on them, and their job security goes down. What happens if they let the problem linger and fester? Nothing. They can raise money, they can get votes, they can get you mad, and they have a 94% reelection rate. So you can put any major problem in this bucket, and this is why it feels like we're not making meaningful progress. You could put immigration in there. You could put climate change in there. You could put AI in there. You could put poverty in there.
A little bit of background on TED. TED is a nonprofit, and in an acronym that stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. Now, it's kind of gone off of those things in various directions. They have a lot of scientists there, but that is TED. It's a nonprofit. It's one reason why I'm sure they don't pay.
That's fair. And yeah, they do a lot of social science now. They do things that are outside of tech, entertainment, design, but...
Oh yeah, one of them, the speeches when we were there was about how to stay married. You know, it's about like is John Gottman and his wife on love, which we could all use more of.
Oh, that's a good question. What did you learn from others while you're there? Anything like that? What stood out that you took away?
So certainly how to stay married. Keyed into that.
How do you stay married?
So there are 4 horsemen that can destroy a relationship. And the one that really sticks with you is contempt, like expressions of contempt. And this is the most frightening thing, is that they can tell hanging out with you for 10 minutes within 90% accuracy rate whether you're still going to stay married to that person.
They watch you, right?
They watch and they record some things, and not even long. It's like I get a 15-minute video of you guys. I can tell with a 90% accuracy whether you're going to be married 10 years later. And so they joke that it's like, you know, they're no one invites them to dinner anymore because they can suss that out. But so that you know, that was a fascinating talk.
That's terrifying.
So if you want that one, you can look up John Gottman.
Carl, don't worry. We just did an event this weekend, and I was talking to Coleman Hughes about speaking publicly. He's like, if I don't speak for 2 weeks, I'm rusty. I'm really rusty. And you're because he doesn't normally speak like that. Like he doesn't normally, he's not always doing a book tour. You're always doing a version of a speaking tour.
Yeah, it's a rare week. I mean, I used to joke, it's like, oh, it's a strange day if I don't have a microphone strapped to my body at some point or in front of my face. I mean, so
weird life you live.
So I'm looking at the steps. It's script plus slides, rehearsal, and then they have you do a dress rehearsal on the TED stage. In Vancouver.
The rehearsal, you said, though, is that in person somewhere?
So it's meant to be in person. In my case, it would have been in New York, but then I had some last-minute snafu, and so they ended up making it virtual, but that was not the preference.
And you're probably an exception, too, where they know you've... Like, there's certain folks that Scott Galloway gives speeches all the time. He used to be a professor. There's certain folks that probably are like...
You'll be fine.
You're not going to fall over up there. But I think I read... Brene Brown, I think is her name. She had never done a talk like that before. But she's talked about the TED experience, that sort of thing. You like get used to, like there's some of them that are like more hand holding, I imagine, because they're all good. The quality of these things are good, so they coach you up.
Yeah, it was interesting too. Is I tried to be generous about the process because I thought, well, there's some people that are having on that have never spoken in this format before, right. And I will say that the stage environment is fairly intense, where you do have 1,700 people in this bowl, and then you go out and there's this stage. So when I was backstage with Scott Galloway ahead of time, we were joking about it's like, hey, it's funny how this process kind of makes you nervous, even if you're someone who like would not get nervous about this sort of thing. And I got to say, though, I loved the experience, and then I went out there, and it felt like a presidential rally in a particular way, where the intensity and the energy were really high.
A lot of cheers and things like that going on?
Yeah, and I was pumped up. it felt like a big swing or a big opportunity in that you have a sense that minimum hundreds of thousands of people are going to see this, maximum millions of people are going to see this. And one of the things that hit me was that I talk about these issues in different environments very, very often. I realized it's like, wait a minute, if I spend my time like for example, at house party, I spoke to 40 people. I'll like go and talk about something else in the hopes that maybe people will take an interest. It's like if I get to talk about the core message to maybe millions of people and 1,700 people there, some of whom are real potential needle movers.
Yeah.
Like this is actually a big fucking opportunity, and I need to treat it as such.
Yeah.
And so the day before, it actually felt like the day before one of the presidential debates where I was in my hotel room pacing, and you already know your stuff, but you're still kind of practicing,
of course,
various things.
It's a big speech. Yeah.
It was like a big speech. And then, I think I benefited so much from having had that context because I like the night before, and then Evelyn shows up, and I was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" As a prep and whatnot, and I thought I said to her, "It's like, look, the main thing is just that I'm actually present and excited to be there, and my energy is high, and if those things are on, then it's going to be great." And I got to say, I finished my talk and I got a standing ovation.
Standing O.
People were really pumped. I did have dozens of people for the next 2 days tell me that it was the high point of the conference for them. A lot of people asking how they can help. And so my goal is that, frankly, that TED Talk will lead to millions of dollars for democracy reform. Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. Please do hit like and subscribe and hit that bell if you want to be notified every time a new episode drops. Thank you.